Alright guys, how's it going? Mr. Extra here from Team Extra. Alright, so I decided to play the Helmet Deck Tenpai for locals on Saturday, right? I did a lot of testing with it. I finally was able to get my Trident Dragon. No, I did not ask a friend. I got it at the YCS Indy, right? Got a good deal on it. Anyways, so I figured I would sit down and do a pros and cons video based off my experience playing it online and then playing it in person. Online, like Dueling Book, Omega, whatever, kind of a different monster than in person. In person is the most realistic you can get. I prefer that over everything. And then Dueling Book, if you like setting for 45 minutes for a judge call over someone reading Ash Blossom wrong, that's all you. I don't got time for that. Anyways, let's get into the content. So I played pure Tenpai, right? I ended up going 3-2. One of those games I lost to myself because Tenpai runs a large hand trap count, which is one of the reasons why people like the deck. It runs a large hand trap count, has OTK potential, can play through a lot of stuff, and second summoning is disgusting. Not to mention Kaiman's pretty good, and Chundora. Anyways, so couple pros, couple cons that I can think of. First, pros, can play a lot of hand traps, can play cross out, can play hand traps and board breakers, right? That's really good. I agree. That's good. You can do all that. You can play shifter too. I don't count that as a pro because the deck doesn't need shifter to win, but sometimes if you shifter, there's a lot of decks in this format. If you shifter it, it's a turn pass. Do with what you want with that information. Anyways, let's get to the meat. So I noticed way more cons than pros with this deck. So I played the most generic build you can think of, so 15 to 18 hand traps, droplets, shifter on the side, Santa Claus, stuff like that. Heat Wave, sure. Heat Wave didn't come up once, which is fine. I didn't really, there was only one person who made me go first the entire tournament, and that was when I was in the Tenpai mirror, and that was game 3. Game 3 I had to go first, and I ended up losing ultimately because of that. But anyways, so cons. You can brick on your hand traps, you can brick on your board breakers, or you can open like Fenrir, a bunch of hand traps. You can open them most unplayable, where you can put Fenrir in like Fenrir control, cool. Fenrir will stop like one thing, right? So that's one big con. Two, even with the link package, this deck still dies to D-Barrier, and D-Barrier is like the main side card in the format because of this deck, so it hits a lot of other decks like Brandy, Pearly. It doesn't hit Snake Eyes, but beside the point. There's more cons, honestly. So you could open Pyodora and Second Summoning, right? And you could lose the 2 hand traps right there, depending. You also pretty much have to main cross out. You have to main droplet. You either main droplet or shifter. You can't do both. And if you're maining shifter, it'll turn off your like generic hand trap. So it will turn off like Veiler. It'll turn off Droll if you're playing Droll, which you shouldn't in this format. Droll is a very big hit and miss. What else do I want to cover? The playstyle of this deck. It does the same thing every single time. Playing this deck reminded me of playing Birds, but being able to run board breakers, right? It was not very enjoyable in my experience. It is what it is. You can do what you want with that information, right? Or just play the deck for a little while. And if you go first, or you're forced to go first, you typically end on Spears, a Bite in Graveyard that's ready, a Kaiman, set, Second Summoning, Fenrir, and then hope you have 2 hand traps in hand. Sometimes that's enough, sometimes that's don't. Well, that's not. Other things that I notice is if they put up a towers very early, especially in game 1, like, I don't know, we'll say like the little bird that Snake Eyes is playing, assuming they just blind do that going first, because if you make them go first, they're probably going to do that, because they know you're playing Tenpai or Striker, which I doubt you're playing Striker. How do I want to explain this? Deck is a high representation. Doesn't take much to play it. Anyone can play it, right? But ending on spears and Fenrir is almost never enough. And if you get deburied and you're forced into the link package line, they can typically stop it because it forces you to go Nahita, then Princess, and Rage, and then Zelantis, and then the only way you're remotely doing anything is if you actually get the Zelantis, bring them all back, and then go to battle phase, and then pop a card, pop one of your fires, so you can bring back your Raging Phoenix. But deck's okay. It's pretty cheap. Hydra's only $12 now. Trident is still the most expensive card. And if for some reason, if this deck is going second into like, we'll just say like Kashtira or anything that will rip a card out of your extra deck and you're playing one Transcendent, you're usually screwed. Because the deck has to make Transcendent in the main to survive the battle phase. If it can't make Transcendent in the main with a Sanguine Summoning set on the field to protect it from being hit with a Veil or Imperm, anything like that, you're cooked. Simple as that. But the deck most of the time does lose to itself, I'll give it that. But it's a Unga Bunga deck. Like, when people say this is a helmet deck, it is a helmet deck. There's not a lot of thinking. The lines are linear as hell. It is just straight to the point. Like, it's either you kill them on your first turn going second, or you lose because of the crackback. It's that simple. And then there's a lot of techs that you can play against this deck that'll just kind of cook it. If you're going first against it, Threatening Roar, anything that makes the battle phase not happen, that's really it. That's all you gotta do. Threatening Roar, Wabaku, anything like that before they drop out Transcendent, that's it. And Sanguine Summoning would be way better if it just said during the main phase, or during the main phase 1, but it's only during your main phase 1. So you could literally make Tenpai go first, go second, open Lightning Storm, blow their field out, and then kill them because Sanguine Summoning isn't going to protect them on your turn, but it'll protect them on their main phase 1. So, a lot of cheese to get around this deck. Very easy to stop. If you have 2 or 3 hand traps right out the gate, you're probably stopping the deck. Or if you stop them getting into Sanguine Summoning, 2 hand traps will do it. They'll literally lose to an Imperm and a Mourner or an Imperm. And what else? Because you negate the Pydra, and then if you Ash Kaiman in the battle phase, when they have nothing else on field, that is their whole turn. So, like I said, deck's good. Play it if you want. I'm going to try the variants to it. I think Pures just isn't enough. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Figured I would make a pros and cons video about the new helmet deck. We can't call Birds the helmet deck no more. We can call Tenpai the helmet deck now. But thanks for watching as always. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you want to see any cheesy Tenpai content, I have the deck built. We can run it. I'm going to be trying a couple different variants in the mix. And let's see what happens. You never know. I could be playing Cash Tenpai this weekend. Or I could be playing Runic Stun or Lightsworn. Choice is yours.